This is the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel 1970-73 Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler YouTube channel.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the Summer 70-73 Carryover League. We continue in the first round of the postseason tournament, trying to eliminate a fourth-place team, and we seem to be finding them, of course. It shouldn't be that hard, technically. There's a reason why you're in third or fourth place. We got the American League Midwest, Royals and Brewers, and let's look at the needs of the team before the series even starts. It has been a disappointing year, to say the least, for the Kansas City Royals. They find themselves in the neighborhood of the Milwaukee Brewers. They met in the regular season where Milwaukee had home team, and the Royals won that 4-3, so they have a +1 tiebreaker. Yet somehow they still find themselves a game behind the Brewers. So a simple best-of-7 will resolve without a tiebreaker necessary. Best-of-7 series, whoever wins 4 games first. For the Royals, oh boy, what a nosedive this year has been. We talked at great length about how well they formed between 69, 70, 71, and 72, putting a nucleus together to go to the playoffs before George Brett would arrive. And after stepping stones in the previous years, they have hit the wall this year, and they've been awful. Plain as day, they've just been awful, hanging around with a Milwaukee team who's overachieved to a losing record to this point. Let's see what's happened. Game 1 in Kansas City, we have Jim Colburn versus Mike Heeland. Royals still optimistic that they can come out of this thing. And they get a great start. They get 3 runs in the second, a run in the third. Heeland gives up a 3 in the fourth, though. It's still a 6-3 game into the 7th inning when reliever Rich Hinton comes in and gives out a 2-out, 3-run homer to George Scott. They tie the thing at 6. Then in the 9th, Jim Fregosi of the Brewers, acquired in a trade with the Angels in the offseason. Solo homer, 7-6 is the final. The Brewer all-star closer, Ken Sanders, is brought in for an easy save. Probably the best thing about the Brewers is Ken Sanders. If you get a lead after 8 innings, it's just about over. And it was today. So the Royals quickly blow home field in an already dismal season. So what happens to game number 2 here in Kansas City? Oh boy, folks. We have Mike Torres for the Brewers, Prince Rogers Nelson, and his brilliant card of 1972, 11-8, 208 ERA. But poor Prince Rogers Nelson gives up a solo homer to Don Mincher. And that's right, Jim Fregosi in the 4th, and again Jim Fregosi in the 9th. That is all the scoring today, as Torres leaves after 8 shutout innings as Ken Sanders collects another save in the 9th. And the Royal nosedive is complete. They have the worst record in all of baseball. They never would have seen this coming. And now they would have to win 4 of the next 5 games just to stay alive, for what that would be worth. And maybe it's time to tank for a draft pick. We'll see. Game 3, we go to Milwaukee, and the Royals actually come back and win this game. It was a nice pitching, Bob Veal versus Jerry Royce. Brewers strike first in an effort to go up 3-0 in the series. But in the 6th inning, we have a Dwayne Josephson 2-run homer, a John Mayberry homer. It's 3-2. But in the bottom of the 8th, the Royals do everything they can to lose this game. They bring in their closer, Doug Bird. he is greeted by Dick Schofield's home run, the only home run hit on a Strat card in 187 at-bats. Well, he got it right there to tie the game at 3, but in extra innings, an RBI single by the lone all-star for Kansas City, Paul Shaw, beats Earl Stevenson and the Brewers 4-3. Road teams won every game. Can the Royals tie the series up with a 4th road win? The answer is no. They can't. Game 4 starters Bill Butler for Kansas City, Bill Parsons for the Brewers. Royals get out to the early start. RBI single by Rojas. RBI single by Josephson. 2-0. The Brewers come back. A Don Mincher homer in the 5th. But then in the bottom of the 7th inning, Wally Bunker has been brought in relief for a pitching well Bill Butler, but he's a starter 6th, so they quick hooked him. And Bill Butler is disappointed as Wally Bunker blows his game by giving up a 2-run homer to Jerry McNertney. Final, Milwaukee 3-2. The home team has finally won a baseball game. They're up 3-1 now. In a Game 5 in Milwaukee. Very lackluster performances all around, really. It's really disappointing. Let's look at the overall standings before we play this game and see if the Brewers could really shock, which would be really horrible. The Brewers are considered the least talented roster in the American League. But after beating up on the Royals here, they're only 2 games under 500, which puts them, you know, probably the 8th or 9th record, you know? I mean, better than the Angels and Royals, Expos, and Yankees. Yeah, whatever. I mean, but it's the Royal. Look at this Royal. 13-21, 382 baseball. Competing for the first overall pick in the draft next year. Speaking of that, you know who else it is? A really bad Philadelphia team. Yeah. Think about that, folks. Philadelphia and Kansas City could be the top 2 teams drafting in the league next year. We know what happens to those franchises in the later 70s. So with the 1st and 2nd picks in the draft, could we realistically have George Brett, 74, and Mike Schmidt, 74? Could those players be taken in next year's draft? Way too soon to think about this stuff, folks. Way too soon, but the writing is kind of on the wall, as both teams are tanking this season, it would appear. So, today we have a Game 5 in Milwaukee. It'll be Mike Hedlund, the Royal Ace. Pretty good pitcher. Has a couple good years left in him. He was 15-8 in 206 innings with a 2.71 ERA in 1971. Jim Colburn. Colburn for the Brewers. His 73, 20-game winner in 300 innings. Kansas City, Milwaukee. Can the Brewers end this misery and get this thing over with? So leading off for Kansas City is Pat Kelly. 49's a K. Amos Otis, 1-9. It's a base hit. The B stealer? Well, they're going to start stealing. Why not, right? And he rolls a 5. Why not go out guns blazing, Kansas City? So Otis steals 2nd. Paul Shaw. 1-7 walk. 1st and 2nd. John Mayberry, 2-4. Skies the right. Lou Piniella, 6-10. Skies the center X. This is Steve Hovley, a 3 in center field. And he makes the catch. Bottom of 1. And here is Steve Hovley. 54 off Hedlund, center X. That's Amos Otis, a 1 in center field. Johnny Briggs, 36 is a walk. Jesus Alou, 111 is a 4-6-3 double play. Well. Swoboda leads off in a 2nd. 1-6 is a K. Ed Kirkpatrick, 49 is a K. And Freddie Patek pops to 3rd. You know, Fred Patek is a disgruntled Royal because he's often batting 8th or 9th. Let's look at the Patek card. Why not? We don't have to do it before he swings. So this is what you get for Fred Patek. Top 10 MVP votes. That's right. In 71, he was finished in the top 10. So he had 630 plate appearances. I'm looking at the numbers very closely. 21 doubles is just not so much. 11 triples was probably leading the league. That's great. 6 home runs. Okay, he's got a little punch and power. And of course, the stolen bases. But it's a tough card in this league to be a leadoff hitter because he just doesn't get on a lot. And yeah. So he wants to lead off, and the manager says, dude, seriously, you just don't get on enough. So maybe that's why the Royals are so bad. Bottom of the second. Don Mincher, 38. This guy's right. Fregosi, 612. Second X. Severson is a 4-30 at second base. That's a base hit. George Scott, 2-7. Single one at 18, base hit. 2 on for Darrell Porter, 38 is a walk. The bases are loaded for Ken McMullen. 57 lines to first, and with 2 outs, it is Dick Schofield. Let's take a look. Why not? Dick Schofield had a home run in that last game to tie things up, or the game before that, because he rolled a 212, and that was the only home run he can hit with this card. His 1970 Boston card, where he hit 187. So here he is with the bases loaded and 2 outs. 45 off Heelan, rolls the second. We go to the third. Rich Severson, 65, center field. The Reverend Pat Kelly, 66, pops the first. Amos Otis, 1-2. Oh boy, he hurts himself. Fly ball to center plus an injury to their arguably best player of the decade. Well, before George Brett arrives, of course. Amos Otis is hurt. He will leave the game. They need a center fielder. Good luck with that. My. Things go from bad to worse for your Kansas City Royals. So, we're going to put Pat Kelly in center field, which is a little scary. Give him some protective gear so he doesn't hurt himself out there. Rojas will come in the game to play second base. And Severson will go to DH. We'll go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Steve Hubley. 38 is a single. He's a C-stealer. Kirkpatrick's got a negative arm. He'll stay put. John Briggs, 47. Second X. And we just upgraded to Cookie Rojas, who's a 2E8. Oh, it's a cheap single off of the 2 second baseman, Cookie Rojas. That is a tough break there. An improvement over Rich Severson as well. 2-1, nobody out for JLO. 58, pops to short. Don Mincher, 2-2, is a 6-4-3 double play. So, lackluster baseball thus far into the fourth. Paul Shaw, 47, base hit. John Mayberry, 37, is a walk. Lou Piniella, 1-5. Let's take a look at Lou Piniella. He was there in 69. I want to say, I think he was he with the Colt 45s in Houston prior to that? But got selected in the expansion draft to go to Kansas City. Had a nice little run there before he ends up in the Yankees in the late 70s. But anyway, 1-5 for Lou. Homer 1-12 double. That is your 3-run homer. And just like that, the Royals are saying, don't give up on us yet. Ron Swoboda, 1-9 is a walk. Ed Kirkpatrick, 4-6-3 double play. Fred Patek, 2-8, that's K. Be nice if there was a walk there, or you know what I mean. Fregosi, 57 lines out. George Scott, 1-4, center. Darrell Porter, 46, walks. McMullen, 4-11, pitcher X for Heedland. E14 pitcher makes the play. Kansas City wants to come back home and at least play a game. They want to play a baseball game at home. That's what their goal is. Rich Severson, 67, lines to second. Pat Kelly, 2-6, base hit for the B-stealer. He's going to steal the lead. Ooh, 13, that's tough. He will be thrown out. Tough one. 2 outs now for Cookie Rojas. This guy's left. Bottom of the 5th. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, Dick Schofield leads it off. 1-6. First. Hubley. 47, second X. No, it's Rojas. 2-8 at second base. Makes the play. Johnny Briggs, 56, guys right field. Mike Heathen and the Royals have a 3-0 lead. We go to the 6th. It's the All-Star, Paul Shaw. 110, flies to left. John Mayberry. 1-7, double 1 to 17 is a 2-base hit. Lou Piniella, 3-11. This guy's all right. And with 2 outs, Swoboda strikes out. 3-zip. Bottom of 6. JLU, 64. Pops to second. Mincher, 47. Bounces to second X. And boy, we're glad we brought Rojas in, as they've been hitting X's to him. Messed up one, got the other ones. Fregosi, 67's a walk. And it's George Scott. 1-6. Let's take a look at George Scott's card. This particular 1970 card is with Boston. You know, it's like Boston, Milwaukee, Boston, Milwaukee. I can't keep track. I'll probably have a Milwaukee card when he plays for the Red Sox. Yada yada. It just, yeah. Anyway, 1-6 is triple 1-2 double. That is going to be a double for Gosi. 13, 14, 15, but you do not have Amos Otis's -4 in center field anymore. You've got Pat Kelly. So you can run this guy. Fregosi will try and score from first on a double, and does with a roll of a 1. So with 2 outs, it's Darryl Porter. 64, lines is short. 3-1 game. Very competitive. Still into the 7th. Ed Kirkpatrick. 48. Walks. Freddie Patek, 49 walks. There you go, Fred. That's what we wanted. 2 on. No one out. Rich Severson. 2-9, third B. So you got a fielder's choice. You got runners on the corners with 1 out. Colburn's the starter 8. He will continue and bring the infield up for Pat Kelly. Pitch to Pat Kelly with the infield up. 42. Pitcher B. Hit a ricochet back to the mound, and Colburn threw it to the plate, and Porter put the tag on. So you got the guy at the plate. You got runners at first and second with 2 outs now for Cookie Rojas. Pitch to Cookie, 1-8 is a grounder too short. So that inning did not work out for the Royals, as per norm this year it seems. 3-1 lead though for them as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It is stretch time here, and we are enjoying Big Stars Keep an Eye on the Sky compilation, about 5 hours and 98 songs of Big Star. If you've got that chunk of life to sit around idly listening to this much of their music, yeah, this is the thing to put on. Put it on shuffle, and you should be knocked out within the 3rd or 4th hour, I'm guessing. Asleep in the fetal position, I'm going to guess. Bottom of the 7th, it is 3-1. Bottom of the 7th, Mike Heelan pitching a very good game. It'll be Ken McMullen and the Brewers leading off. 39, grounds a short. Dick Schofield, 2-6, gets a walk. So we go to the top of the lineup with a tie run batting. Steve, isn't he lovely? The tie run, the pitch to Steve. 2-4 is a 6-4-3 double play. Well, Mike Heelan showing some pizzazz today. A fine start. 7 in the books. 3-1 game. Colburn's starter 8 continues. Paul Shaw. 2-9 for Shaw. Let's take a look at the All-Star for the Kansas City Royals. He really does a nice job for them through the time Brett arrives at third base, and even when they're both there. Shaw moves out of position, I think, and then he's gone by 74-75. But nice little run here for Paul Shaw. 2-9, triple 1-9 double is a 2-base hit. John Mayberry, 2-3, rolls to first. They're going to bring the infield up with a runner at third and less than 2 outs for Lou Piniella, who is the offense today for Kansas City. 37, center B question mark, trying to get a 4th RBI. They're going to send Shaw 13, 14, 15 against the Hovley -1 arm. And here's the play at the plate. And he slides in on a 13. And the Royals take a 4-1 lead. Ron Swoboda. 2-9, Skies to center field. 4-1 Royals. Heedlin pitching a gem. Bottom of the 8th, it's John Briggs. 2-9 center. JL Lou. 210 is a base hit. Don Mincher. 411. Short X. Here's Patek. Chance to put an exclamation point on this game with a double play turn. 2E27. And he turns it. Freddie Patek. How about that? Double play. Big swing there. A 4-1 game goes in the 9th. Colburn. Let's see. He'll come out after 8. He gave it 4 runs. Let's get somebody in their bullpen some work. We'll give Dan McGinn, let him come on in the 9th. To get some work. A 4-1 deficit. Ed Kirkpatrick. Batting for Ed Kirkpatrick will be Dwayne Josephson. Pitch to Dwayne, 6'10", is a single. Here's Fred Patek. 310 is a walk. There you go. 2 on for Severson. 65, second C. Runners go to second and third with 1 out. They're going to bring it up. Kelly has to bat because he's the only outfielder left after the Otis injury. 33 is a pop to short. And with 2 outs, it's Cookie Rojas. 45 off McGinn, bounces the second X. This is Schofield, a 3-second baseman, makes the play defensively, and the Royals do not get insurance. So, it will be a 4-1 game going to the bottom of the 9th, and the Royals will turn to their closer, Doug Bird, to get this thing back to Kansas City and give them a chance. You mean there's still a chance? 4-1, bottom of the 9th. The Brewers wanted to advance into the next round in front of the home fans. It doesn't look likely now. Down 3. Jim Fregosi will lead off. 32 pops to third. George Scott, 6'11", first X. Mayberry, a 3E8 at first base. And he boots a ground ball. And the door is opened. Darryl Porter. Let's show you Darryl's card. This is a 1973 rookie card for Darryl Porter at 254. Establishes that left-handed power and on base at a young age here. Ironically, his best year will be with the Kansas City Royals, his opponent today. The pitch to Darryl Porter. 56 off of Bird as a K, and with 2 outs, it's Ken McMullen. Let's take a look at McMullen's card. He actually was a California Angel in 72. He had a bunch of years like this. Very solid defensive player. Played full seasons. 250, 260, 9 homers. I think he had 18 homers one year. More glove than stick. And eventually he became a... didn't become a full-time player. He was still a full-time player here in 72, but after this year I think he just goes to a utility player. But here he is, Ken McMullen, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. 2-9, he hits his column, he hits his card to a double 1-2 single. That will be a single. And you've got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And folks, we're setting up Dick Schofield, who I mentioned rolled the 212 homer. The 212 homer was rolled off of Doug Bird a couple games ago to tie that game. Of course, guys on the bench like Rick Reichert and Jerry McNertney have a better chance of getting the game-tying home run. So what do you do, folks? You gotta, I'm gonna pinch hit for him. I'm sorry, Dick. I'm gonna pinch hit for you. As entertaining as it would be to roll the 212 home run for a 3rd time this year, we are going to pick up with Rick Reichert will be your pinch hitter. Let's take a look at Rick Reichert. He was a White Sox in 71 with 19 home runs. Doesn't play full-time for this Brewer team. They've got a lot of outfielders. So here he is, Rick Reichert against Doug Bird, trying to tie this thing 4-4. A 210 is a homer for Reichert. A 212 would have been a 3-run homer for Schofield. Here's the pitch to Rick Reichert. 4-4! He did it! Doug Bird blew it! 4-4. Let's show you the Bird card again. He homer automatic on the love 4-4 if you got power. We brought in a guy with power, and he does it. Oh, the Royals. How much of a nightmare of a season can you have? They were... It is tied 4-4. Couldn't even put them out of their misery. This thing could linger for 15 innings and then they could lose. So, Doug Bird surrenders the 3-run homer with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth to make it 4-4. And we keep going. And it'll be Steve, isn't he Hovley? 111, lines to first base. Oh my goodness, folks. Bonus baseball here in Milwaukee. Hopefully this won't go on all night. Hopefully Milwaukee will put us out of our misery by winning this, then a walk-off in extras. Dan McGinn will continue into the 10th inning and face Paul Shaw. 1-9 is a walk. He'll walk against anybody. The batter will be John Mayberry. 36 is a walk, and just like that, McGinn is gone. Well, that didn't work. So now 2 guys are on with nobody out. And, gosh, yeah, I guess you got to go Ken Sanders here. Ken Sanders, the closer, will come in the extra innings. He's a relief 3, but you got 2 runners on base. And if you're Kansas City, you got to really think long and hard about bunting here. It'll be Lou Piniella. Now, I know Lou is a hitter, a .312 hitter and 600 plate appearances, but he is a B bunter. Gosh. But you know what? You got Swoboda and Josephson and Podtek after him. No, you can't bunt with your best hitter with bad ones behind him. So Piniella will swing away with 2 on and nobody out. The pitch to Lou Piniella, who has driven in all the runs for the Royals today. The pitch to Lou for 11 off of Sanders is right X. Who do we have out there in right? In right field, it is Al Lou, a 3E12 right fielder. And Al Lou makes a 2-base error, and we got a mess here. We have a mess. A 2-base error, and the Royals reclaim the lead, taking Doug Bird off the hook. Second and third, nobody out. Swoboda, they're going to bring it up here. 4-7, Swoboda is a K. Still up for Josephson. 52, pops a second. And with 2 outs, it's Podtek. 67 is a K. Well, J.L. Lou's 2-base error allowed just 1 run to score and then nothing after that. So we have a 5-4 game. What do you do with Bird? He's a relief 3. I guess you got to leave him in there. He theoretically is your best pitcher. 5-4 Royals. Bird didn't want to save. He wanted to win. He has an opportunity for that now. Briggs, Alou, Mincher, Fregosi. We'll take a look at each guy. Johnny Briggs. He was a Brewer in 71 with these 21 homers and about 400 plate appearances. Eventually, I think he's with Philadelphia, either before or after this. The pitch, John Briggs. 47 off Bird's a single. And here's J. Al Lou, acquired in the offseason. Nice little card here in 1970. Full season for the Astros, playing corner positions. Good handler of the bat. Doesn't strike out very much. Just 15 strikeouts and 490 plate appearances. That is absolutely historically fantastic. That's right up there with the Tony Gwynns and the Tim Foleys and Rich Dowers of the world as not wanting to strike out. Unfortunately, I hope you don't hit into a double play by not wanting to strike out. So here is the pitch to J. Alou. 48 off of Bird is single 1-8. Line out to second. He rolls the 8. He gets the single off of Bird, who is doing his best to go on vacation. He's done with baseball at this point, but they still have him out there wanting to pitch. So you have 2 on. The Royals, with 2 on, nobody out, got to run off a 2-base error. How can the Brewers match that? Mincher, Fregosi, and Scott. Let's look at Don Mincher. He was a Washington Senator in 1971. Eventually, he will be one of Oakland's many first basemen on the World Series team of 72 with the Epsteins and the Mike Keegans of the world. This is a very nice card. 73 walks, with a power and average. So it's a very nice Mincher card here. And here's the pitch to Don Mincher. 48 again off of Bird is a single to left. Briggs with nobody out. 14. Pinella has a +1 arm. Gosh, I hate to. They're going to run with nobody out on a 15. We'll look here to see if they tie it. And here he goes, rounding the third base. He scores on the 1. So they did tie it. And if you're a 14+ runner, Alou, you go to third, and he does. So that was the call there to tie the game, because Alou ends up going to third anyway. So you have first and third with nobody out. Now you have a much better than average chance of winning this thing here. In a 5-5 tie, I don't know what to do with Kansas City at this point. You know, Bunker, Pena, and Hinton are in the bullpen. None of them are as good as Bird, who has put 6 of the last 8 guys on base. I think the Royals want to go home and do something else besides play baseball. So with first and third and nobody out, they'll bring the infield up at least. And it'll be Jim Fregosi. Let's take a look at the Fregosi card. His 1970 card with the Angels. His best year, arguably. 670 plate appearances, 33 doubles, 22 homers, and a 278 batting average as a rangy 2 shortstop. Infield up, you know, catcher's card, sac fly, bloop single. The pitch to Jim Fregosi. 6'10" off a Bird with the infield up is third X. Hold on 1 second. Third X. The third baseman is Shaw. He is a 2E28. A2 with the infield up. E28. He gets a single dot on the 2E28, and that is a walk-off single for the Brewers. And the Royal Nightmare is complete. 4-1 lead in the 9th. They give up 3. Take the lead in the 10th. They give up 2. A total complete failure by Doug Bird here in the last couple innings. My goodness. Poor Kansas City. They are trying hard for that first pick in the draft, and they might get it. Didn't see this year coming for Kansas City, and that is horrible. They are done. Final score, 6-5 Milwaukee. Let's do the box here. So, Ken Sanders collects a win instead of a save. He came on with 2 guys on and nobody out. Struck 2 batters out, and an outfielder made an error, so he had a perfect, you know, did all right, you know, what he was supposed to do. McGinn came on in the 9th, gave up a hit and a walk. Then he gave up 2 walks in the next inning and gave up the 1 run, but though it was unearned. So, kind of not too bad of a start. Jim Colburn gave up 6 hits and 4 runs. All to the swings of Lou Piniella. Walked 5, struck out 5. Doug Bird. Ugh. Maybe Kansas City should move him to setup man and get a closer. That was awful. Comes on in the 9th and ruins Mike Headland's day. Gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits, 5 runs. However, the 3 in the 9th were not earned to help his ERA. Only the 2 runs in the 10th were earned. I don't think he struck out a guy, didn't walk a batter. Mike Headland's no decision is 6 hits and the 1 run. Bill Butler also was pulled. The Kansas City bullpen was just a disaster. 5 walks, no strikeouts for Headland. 1-00-10, 0-1-0-9, 6-12-5-7, 8-7-5-1, 5-1-8-7. And the Milwaukee Brewers emerged as a spoiler in the American League now, as they're just a game under 500, which would match teams like the Baltimore Orioles, the world champions of 1970. Oh my God. So let's do the composite box for the 2 squads. Kansas City. Oh, dreadful season. And you know what? What's not being mentioned enough is how nice of a season this is for a Milwaukee Brewer team that is the least talented in the American League right now. Maybe they should put the Royals on their schedule more often. Let's start with them. It's a good story. Milwaukee is 16-17. Not bad at all. This is clearly the best year they've had in a long time. They hit .265, and the team ERA is .331, which is actually better than Baltimore's now. Since the All-Star, before and after the All-Star break, Oriole pitching has gotten lit up, and the Brewers has pitched better. That is so weird. Ken Sanders, 10 saves, 17 2/3 innings, just 1 run, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts, 2 1, 10 saves. Yeah, he's your team MVP. You kind of hate it when your closer is your team MVP, though, but yeah, he's doing a great job. Not a lot of power on this squad. You do have 26 RBIs for George Scott, 40 for 132. George Scott, 303. What about Fregosi? Fregosi on the year, though, just mediocre. Yeah, Fregosi hitting just 246 with that card you saw. So that's a little disappointing. But now, speaking of disappointing, let's go to Kansas City. And what happened this year? One of the things that happened this year is that they did not reinforce left-handed pitching. And they have probably 3 of the weaker left-handers in the carryover league. Bob Veal, Bill Butler, and Rich Hinton. They're not going to scare anybody, so they're very weak as left-handed pitchers. So one of the things they're going to try and do in the offseason is get Larry Gura or Paul Splittorff or one of those guys that the Royals would be using to start winning the American League West. Doug Bird actually is 2-2 with 3 saves. He really wasn't that awful for the year. It's just that game was a real terrible game. We got 9 homers for John Mayberry. That's nice. But his average was low. Paul Shaw, 23 walks for Shaw, 37 for 125. The team at .241 with a .361 team ERA, but 13-22. I did not see that coming at all. That is one of the biggest stories in this league, that the Royals just bad luck. Only playing 38 games, so it's one of the worst 38 games that team's going to have. 516 games in the books. We are hitting .263 as a league with a .387 ERA. How about breaking up the Milwaukee Brewers? Congratulating them for doing something nice. They won a series convincingly, 4-1, and the Milwaukee Brewers, as a third-place team, are still alive in the postseason tournament. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.